All right. Hopefully, we have the audio issues taken care of. Tried a little different. So, what you missed, what I was trying to say earlier, is I am down for maintenance. I got front end issues. I'm having a couple of um, hydraulic leaks taken care of on my power steering. Um, After I get the alignment and the new front end parts, I'm going to have the last two tires. So I'll have six new tires all the way around. You guys may remember when I went to Pecos for that test, I had a blowout and got four new tires across the back. Um, so took the truck to the shop yesterday, and I guess he had to order some parts and this and that and the other. Hopefully this afternoon. I think that's being really optimistic. I may be down for up to 4 days here, um, which it's. I mean, if I had something to do, somewhere to be, it would be all right. But I'm just literally sitting here at the house, um, chomping at the bit to get back to work. And cool things are coming up. If you guys are on the Facebook, you guys may have heard me talking about a side gig coming up, the aluminum repair stuff. Um, I've got sup Jr. Um, I've got this plan, and once I learn how to do it, I'm going to fill you guys in on it because I don't believe in like trade secrets and stuff like that. I think that's bullshit. I'm going to try to pull this up real quick in another window over here. Do some real science shit here so I can see these chat messages a little better. But I'm trying to hook up a gouger, for gouging metal to uh, the air brakes on a 18 wheeler. There we go. Okay, so I got that all figured out. Um, I'm gonna need some special adapters. I mean, they're not special for truck trailer brakes, but they're not typically what go on a gouger. Um, I ran into a problem. I had everything I needed. I had the material and I had the rod to do these repairs. But what happened is it had already been fixed once, a big gnarly weld, and I had to grind it out. But it was stake pockets on the side of a trailer, so it was pretty tight to get into. And I was like, I'll just use my die grinder with the burr bit on there. Gummed it up just like that. It was a double cut bit, and I know you're supposed to use single cut on aluminum, but I thought it would get me a little further than it did. Um, and I'm thinking, okay, these burr bits, they're 15, $30 a pop. They're pretty spendy. So took me a while to get to the gouger because that you think air. Well, I don't have air. I'm not going to carry a compressor. So I'm trying to sit here and source parts, which really I need to go find a I need to have my truck and I need to go talk to a mechanic about these fittings. Um get all that stuff worked out. I need 50-foot hose, that way I can work all the way up and down a trailer. But oh yeah, no, I'll definitely, Anthony. I'll be back on the same project. I just all the bosses understand this is just part of it. That lease road we're working down is rough. It's really rough. This is just the cost of doing business out here is these repairs. Half of this is preventative. I saw my tires starting to wear on the inside, uneven, and before it even started showing metal, before it wore out completely, I shut it down and I said, "Hey, look, boss, I got maintenance coming up. I found a mechanic that could do the work because you got a lot of guys out here that don't like to work on 1 tons, especially with a welding rig in the back. It's too heavy. They don't have the equipment for it." Um, so I found a guy and he said, "Well, I can get you in Monday." And this was on Tuesday, the week prior. So he said next Monday. So I said I'll be there. I'll get it in Monday morning, first thing. And real nice guy. We'll see how his work is. But guy knew what he was talking about, and he liked old trucks. So I like guys that like old trucks because they know why they're special, and they know the challenges with dealing with them. Finding the parts, and you know, there's old tricks. You when a vehicle's been around 20 years, um, if you've worked on it prior, you've accumulated knowledge, just like any other trade. you've accumulated knowledge and tricks as to what's going on. So, oh yeah, no, no, I'm not stranded. Like I said, this is maintenance. This is planned maintenance, and I got 1 year off of that front end. Um, I wish it was more. I wish this stuff lasted longer. But I mean, you're asking a lot out of a pickup truck uh, to be carrying around a big. I think they're 1,200 pounds all in. At least 1,200 pounds. Those welders, tools. What am I running? 250 foot of lead, whole spool lead, uh, heavy. Everything's heavy. Everything is heavy. Um, the rollout wheel's sitting here in the corner. I don't need that to make shelves and Econics, but here before too long, that'll be back on the truck. I guess we got a pipe job coming up pretty soon, which will make for some good footage. I'm excited to see. Um, but I'll tell you what, it's a ever changing scene out here. They had some bunch of guys get laid off. I've seen a bunch of guys drag up on West Texas. Head back to Kansas for a big pipeline job over there. Um, I'm meeting helpers out here every day looking for work, and it's neat to see these guys come down here with no lead. Kind of like I did. Except they're not coming down with a truck. They're just coming here because they're hungry for the work, and that's neat to see. And there is work for them. They're going to have to find it though. Nobody's going to hand them a job. They're going to have to hustle it up themselves. But there's it's every time I go to the Weld supply store, I swear they're like vultures there. Hey man, you need a helper. Hey man, you know where the work's at? Yeah, and go in. Those guys at the sales counter. To the folks out there that see this video, oops, that see this video and are trying to get work out here, go into those weld supply stores. That was my very first stop, B&J Welding. I walked straight up to the counter and said, "Hey man, I just rolled into town right now. Where's the work at?" And he was able to line me out with 6 or 7 big jobs going on, and yeah, it's those guys are the ones selling the consumables. They're selling all the equipment. They know their customer well enough. Those sales guys may not know anything about welding, and yeah, you may get some stupid answers out of them when you ask them, "Hey, I'm trying to do this. What do I need?" In fact, I guarantee you're going to get some stupid answers out of them, but they know where the work is at. So, because that's their customer, so they do know their customer. You can't knock them for not trying. So, but yeah, like I said, I'm just here to hang out. I'm dying. There's nothing here. This is the middle of nowhere. Um, I'm sure I could go. Well, no, I couldn't even go see a movie. I don't have a vehicle, so no vehicle. I don't have anywhere to go anyway. I don't have anything to do. Um, I got to go get dinner with my cousin last night. He came and picked me up at the house, and we went. Yeah, I could get an Uber, which is funny. My roommate's an Uber driver, so I mean, I like I said, I can. There's all sorts of ways I can catch a ride, but I got nowhere to go. There's nothing to do here. Uh, it's I mean, I I need a second job. Sitting at the house, what can I do from home? So um, who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I'm hoping to be back at work. I mean, I'm scheduled to be back at work tomorrow, but I mean, we're sitting here. I don't know what time it is now. It's after 1. Yeah, after 1 o'clock, and I got no word from the mechanic. So I'm guessing tomorrow's off the table. I'm gonna have to make the call to the boss and be like, "Hey, it's not gonna happen. Looks like Wednesday." And honestly, I mean, I know the alignment itself is going to take half a day at a different shop that he subs that work out to. So if I don't hear that it gets to the alignment shop by this afternoon, um, Thursday, I mean, might be the day. So I could be down for 6, 7 days here. Um, but it is what it is. Um, I mean, believe it or not, it's really not too bad. It's a nice reprieve. been going hard out here. I mean, I haven't even been working weekends, but just the driving, these roads, you guys, they're serious. If you come out here, the roads are serious. You get opposite ends of the spectrum. You get this guy is hurry up, boys, we got to get this job done. And then you get this guy over here says, "Hey man, I'm getting paid by the hour. Let's cruise." So you get these two guys on the road at the same time, you're gonna have issues. So and you see it all the time. You see people passing in bad spots, just dangerous situations. Um, Guys pulling right in front of 18 wheelers. Hey, congratulations on the welding school. Um, get ready. Come out here and get it, or wherever you're going. What's your plan? But I'm trying to. Here we go. Let's put it right here. There we go. A little rearrangement. Oh, I'll just leave that. I'll just stick with the talking. Helper pay out here, out in West Texas, as low, very bare minimum you'll see is $12 an hour. $100 a day per diem, I think, is going rate. That's around Pecos, Pecos, Orla over there. Um, I've seen it as high as $18 an hour, but odds are you're not going to get that. If you come out here, think 16 and 100. Um, my helper's making 16, no per diem. This is a permanent job. What I've got here is a permanent position. Um, Basically, I've got a job for as long as there's oil money. So there's this is a no per diem gig. Some contracts may have per diem. What I'm getting now, which actually works out better for me, is drive time. Uh, in my helper's case, drive time works out to $32 a day is all he's getting drive time. Whereas for me, I'm getting $120 for drive time. So, you know, uh, good for me, not so good for him. But if you come out here, don't even think about a hotel room. Help the helper I've got now. Justin is paying for Airbnb $28 a day or something like that. That's a pretty good option. Um, Go straight for an apartment or renting a room. Hotels are going to suck up all your money. Um, there may be some cheaper hotels, but you're going to be spending more than you want to on a hotel. Uh, $28 a day for Airbnb is a great deal. Um, if you're spending, I guarantee you in a hotel you'll be spending more than 1,000. But there's plenty of ways to spend far less than 1,000 a month for living accommodations. Uh, RV parks are 600 and less. Those things are really starting to open up. Uh, Hold on. Yeah, no, most helper jobs out here, as long as you're on a pipeline, if you're doing pipeline work, you will get per diem as even a helper. Um, but but what we're doing, this who we're working for, this is not a per diem gig. Again, I'm not out here chasing pipeline. I'm doing new construction. Um, I am. I've got a big daddy that I'm working for, and I'm doing all the welding he wants, whatever he wants welded. So right now he wants these connexes built. So I'm gonna keep on building those until they're done, and hopefully I'll get onto this pipe job here before too long. So oh yeah, no, trailers are great. RV parks are a great option. Call these guys. I guess somebody tried to come down here in a motorhome, which motorhome is different from an RV. Those are the ones you that actually drive. You don't pull it with a truck. I guess he couldn't find anywhere that would allow a motorhome. So know the rules with those places, I guess. But if you're bringing a fifth wheel or a bumper pull, you won't have any problem with that stuff. And that's a great option. I travel with a dog. Uh, she needs a little bit more room than a trailer provides, and I've rented rooms everywhere I've been. Even before I started welding, when I moved out of my parents' house, I went the room renting route. So it's just what I'm comfortable with, and that's how I do it. And it comes with a lot of benefits. Like I have somebody to do my laundry for me, this and that, and I really do appreciate the situation. So even when you risk bad roommates, it's just the option I go with. It works for me. It suits my lifestyle. So let's see what these are saying over here. Van's down by the river, dude. I've rocked a van down by the river. That's no shit. I wish I had pictures to show you. I had a badass van. That was prior to my welding days. Um, but I traveled the country in that van. And so, no shit, man. I had that van down by the river, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I loved it. I loved it. So, let's see. Best way to get started, Patrick, man. There's no wrong way to do it. So so you're here and you could have started anywhere, but right now in life you're right here and you're just trying to get that way. So anyway, however you can get there. Whether you start in a shop, which is how I did. I started from the lowest level in the dirtiest, nastiest fab shop, and I just worked my way up. I never was a welder helper. I learned to weld, got into a fab shop, and I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it again. I made $11.50 an hour for 3 months, $15 an hour for 3 months, $17 an hour for 7 months, $21 an hour for 2 weeks, uh, $19 an hour for another 7 months, uh, and then from there, that got me to the 2 or 3 year mark. From there, I could I could be more picky. I knew what I was good at. I was good at fabrication at that point, and I knew that, and I was able to really start. That's when doors opened, and I was willing to travel further because I was more confident in my skill. I could drive 10 hours for a job and not be worried that I would bust the weld test. I knew what to expect on these jobs. I knew what I was biting off. Uh, from there, that's when I hit really these top paying gigs that are on the road, making 28, 30 plus dollars an hour, plus the per diem and everything. Um, that was doing structural single hand work. Came into a couple pipe jobs here and there. I've I've always been a combo hand. I've done a lot of structure, uh, a little bit of stainless pipe, mostly carbon pipe. Um, Pipe fabrication and stuff like that. And once you hit that skill set, that's when the top dollars coming in. So, find first things first. First things out the gate, Patrick. You got to find what you're good at, what you like to do. And if you don't like fabrication or if you like pipeline or something like that, find your way into that. Whether it's coming into some money and getting a rig and just learning how to run it, get on the pipeline that way, or come in as a helper, learn the rhythm, find you a way to pay for your rig while you're being a helper. Because that's the thing. I'm going to tell you straight up: jobs out here, you will not be able to rig up as a helper. You're not going to be able to afford it. It's too expensive to live out here, and I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's if you're living like a normal guy is living, you're not going to be able to afford to rig up as a helper in West Texas. Because what they pay for out here is they're paying for the fully skilled, already trained worker. Everybody else is getting paid chump change. So keep that in mind. I mean, and that's just a fact of the matter. They're paying top dollar to skilled laborers out here. My roommate is a wireline guy, and he's in a situation now where he's like shopping around. He's not completely happy with his situation, but I mean, he's 10 years deep into this wireline oil field work, so the doors are open to him. However, somebody just now starting out in wireline or wanting to get into fracking or whatever, it's going to be a hard job to get into. But when you already have the skill, man, they'll open the doors, they'll welcome you in, and they'll say, "What can we do for you to get you to work here?" But again, if you don't have that skill, you're gonna have to convince them to hire you. It's gonna be the other way around. So you show up with the skill, and you're gonna be good to go. So yep, yep, yep. $8 an hour. Whew. But that's no joke. That's no joke. I mean, like I said, I've seen helper jobs as low as $12 an hour out here. So uh, certifications, they're not worth anything. I mean, I have a piece of paper handy. You take a certification. I'm a certified welder. You show up to a job, you're gonna have to take the same weld test as everybody else, unless you have gas company papers. Um, and you're in the pipeline business, you're chasing pipelines, which you can't just go to a shop and get gas company papers. You have to. That's how that works. Uh, Certifications, and I've made a video on this prior. Little pieces of paper that say you can weld are worthless. If you go to school and they charge you $500 to get that piece of paper, tell them to fuck off. That you're going to save your $500. Save that to drive to your first weld test, where if you pass the weld test, if you have the skill, then you'll get the same pay as everybody else who passed that test. So that's the truth, man. Let's see. I think I missed some of these up here. Man, I'll tell you what. EENN. Um, I'm gonna let you in on a side gig that I've got going. You pull up to Love's or Stripes or wherever these trucks are at, and you tell them you can fix their busted ass trailers. I'm gonna be fucking getting it. I'm gonna do it one day a week, on Saturday, Sunday that I'm off or whatever. Um, I figure I bet you I could make as much money as I'm making right now with a full time job working for somebody else. I can make the same money hustling up these little side gigs. These guys get broke down. They're cash rich. They need to get back on the road, and they're happy to pay for these repairs. So that's why I'm working on this, getting an aluminum setup running. The gouger, the special no compressor gouger. Wait for that video, guys. I'm telling you, it's going to be awesome. I've Googled it. I've searched for it. I've never seen anybody do this before, and this is going to be just a mobile repair life hack. So if you guys are in that business, if you're looking to be in that business, it's going to be something you want to see. But basically, it's no secret. Like I said, I don't believe in trade secrets. I don't believe in keeping this bit of knowledge that I have sitting on it and using it just for myself. I'm gonna share it with you. So what I'm working on doing, and I think I already said it, but I've got this series of adapters I got to get hooked up, hook it up to a gouger, and I'll be able to run the compressed air off of these 18 wheelers to do gouging on their trucks where, because there's so many places for this repair work that you can't get to with a grinder and even a die grinder. Like I said, I ruined a burr bit in about 30 seconds. So 61 years old. Who we? Man, no, I'll tell you what, man. If you got eyes and your knees still work, age is not a factor. I get asked that all the time. Can I do this? I'm getting old. Man, age is up here. Nobody's going to stop you. Nobody's going to say, oh, I don't know. You look kind of old. I don't know. It doesn't work like that. If you can do the work, they'll be happy to have you. 61 years young, man, have at it. Nobody's going to stop you. I mean, there's guys older than that out on pipelines. I met them at the tire shop not too long ago. I'm not a union guy. I don't. I. You do you. I mean, if you want to do union stuff, I got a lot of reasons not to. Um, but you do you. Whatever you want to do, that's your business. So, it Crow Welder 85. I've never even heard of a welding license before. I mean, I'll pull out my wallet here. I got a lot of crap in here. I got a whole lot of crap. A whole lot of crap. But none of these are a welding license. So I don't know. It's not, we're not plumbers here. Um, you know, but yeah, no, there's no such thing as a welding license. If you can weld, you show up, you take a weld test. That's your qualification. That's what your employer requires you to have to work. They have a hire on test. It's called a weld test. You take the practical weld test, it bends or they shoot it and it passes, you got the job. You're not like an electrician or a plumber or anything like that. Take a state certification. It's not like that. Now, if you live in LA, there's a license that you have to work in LA. Um, I think there's some other places, a few other places I've been to that have had a license, but it's basically, a steam card in Oklahoma. That's the same thing. It's like a tax you have to pay to weld in the state of Oklahoma. So yeah, yeah, but yeah. See, and Chicago would be one of those places. Those guys are taxing people playing video games. So I'm sure they have some sort of license you have to get. But I don't know, check into your local regulations. If you just uh, talk to a local welder who's doing that kind of work, they'd be able to line you out. But typically, uh, employers take care of all that. It's not something that you're required to bring with you. When you show up and you say you can weld and you pass a weld test, an employer will cover all that for you. Just keep that in mind. You shouldn't be paying for any of that out of pocket. That's how this trade works. Is if you got the skill, somebody's going to cover you. They're going to pay for all that because they need your skill. They need the warm bodies that can run the rods. So over and over and over again, buddy. Every job you go to, you're going to be taking that test. I mean, just get used to it. That's life. Every job you go to, I mean, you could have just taken it. You could have worked the job for 2 weeks, got a layoff, go to another company. It's the exact same test, but like, hey, look, but I just took this test, the piece of paper. They're going to have you take it again. That's just how it works. And just count on that. Get used to taking those weld tests. That's part of this career. So let's see. Oh, blueprint reading, Patrick. Yeah, you don't have to, but it will set you apart. That's a skill that not everybody has, and it's really not that hard. Uh, if you start out with, say, some shop prints, those are easy to read. A knuckle drag and iron worker can read shop prints. Um, blueprints just a little different, a little bit more complicated. There's a little bit more on there to see and interpret, but you get good at it, and that's what your boss is for too. They can give you, okay, so they'll give me like a stack of prints like this thick, and I go through it and flip through it. My job at that level is to find out what in a stack of prints this thick is applies to me, like, applies to what I'm building. So this first section is for the structure. This first section is for the pipe isos. This section is for the pipe supports. This section is for electrical and instrumentation and valves and stuff like that. So I'll take that and I'll set it aside, and I'm building the structure. I'm building the pipe. I'm installing the pipe, and I'm putting in the pipe support. So this section of prints is good for me. Now I show up and I'm doing only pipe supports, then this section is good. If I'm just doing the pipe, then this section is good. So you got to know how those prints are written down, and they break down real simple, but you just have to learn how to interpret, where to start. Um, it's just a skill. It's just like everything else. Some guys don't bother to put the time in, and some do. And really, you don't need a whole job of people that can read prints. You need uh, you need a couple guys, you need them spread out through the job, so um, oh, you know what? It's no problem, man. It's no problem. Like I said, this is down day for me, waiting for that truck to get repaired. So I got time. And like I said, there's nothing to do here. There's nothing to do. Nowhere to go. Uh, I would if I did have a truck and I couldn't work today, I would be sitting here too because I don't know where else to be. So yeah, learn the math. I tell you what, I wish I could go into high schools and do a trade math seminar because when I was in high school, man, I did not understand. They would have all these numbers and formulas and I'm like, "Why? What are we doing here? What is this? Like what is this? What real life problem is this math solving?" Well, I didn't know that trigonometry was for pipe fitting. I didn't know that geography or geometry, excuse me, could be used to for such a hands-on trade like that I'm in. But you show up to a pipe fitting job, pipe welding job, pipe fabrication job, you're going to be using trigonometry. You're going to be using, oh my gosh, brain fart. I'm so bad at math, I don't even know what it's called. Geometry. That's what I'm trying to think of. I keep wanting to say geology and geography, but yeah, man, learn that math. And really when you're able to in like I might say to you, learn trigonometry. You may have the same memories of high school that I do, where trigonometry just like that, like no, like I would see it and just made no sense. So, but when you have the tangent and code tangent and whatever right in front of you, it's so easy. I wish I had my calculator. I mean, boop 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 boop, and you're like, oh, well, I know this and I know this, and I need to just figure out this angle. There's a button for that on the calculator. Like, but they don't break it down for you like that in high school. And like I said, I wish I could go back and tell myself in high school that this is important. Like pay attention to this. But if you know this much, that's all you need. If you just can grasp the very basics, you can grow off of that foundation. If you have no foundation to work off of, it's really hard to establish that in the field. You're basically, if you have no foundation, you're going to be doing what somebody else is telling you to do. So don't be afraid to grow, learn and grow. That's what I'm here to do. I'm help you guys to do that. So triangles, yeah, triangles. How much for a week? What do you mean for a hotel, or how much do I make, or what do you mean? I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, Lee. So yeah, there you go, Alejandro. Just in time. Welding job. Uh, still not following you. Oh, how much I'm making? I make quite a bit right now. I'm making good money. I do. Oh, I got a Snapchat here, but I'll ignore that. So, guys out here, depending on what kind of work you're doing, uh, and depending on how many hours a week I'm working, uh, oh yeah, yeah. Get into a local shop. Learn everything you can from them. Suck it all up. Work until it gets boring, and then go on to the next one. If it never gets boring, you stay there forever. I mean, but if you're looking, shops are good because you get a variety of stuff. Real slow paced. I mean, even a fast paced shop is still slow paced compared to a lot of this field work that goes on out here. I mean, you'll be here 1 second, here the next, fucking, I mean, turning and burning. So, yeah, just learn what you can at that shop, take it all in, get a good mentor. Find somebody that has the skills that you want. That's probably my best advice if you're going to go the shop route. Is I like me myself. I always gravitated to those guys that may have had families or something that worked on the road at one point, but came back to a shop because they needed to be close to home, or for whatever reason, they got tired of the road, or they were a little too hard and needed to get back home, get back to reality. Um, and I learned everything I could from those guys because I knew I wanted to travel. I knew I wanted to be on the road. But if you just want to, stack dimes or something, go be around that guy. If you want to, there's so many different sub skills to this trade, that you just got to find what you want and find the people to learn that from. So no, never been in shipyards and no interest in shipyards. The pay sucks. The locations suck. I don't like coastal areas. Uh, I have no interest in shipyards. So, but single hand is just okay. So I got no truck. I got a box of tools or a bucket of tools. You don't even need a whole lot of tools. Single hand because they have tool rooms. So I got my bucket of tools. So I got my stinger, got my wire brush, chipping hammer, hood, crescent wrench. You show up to a job and you're hired and you're getting good money. 30, 40 bucks an hour if you're depending on what you're welding. I combo is you can be a single hand combo welder, which just means you're welding TIG and stick and weld alloys. Generally, you can weld whatever they put in front of you. Whatever process they want, whether it's TIG or stick, and on whatever alloys they want. Usually they mean stainless or carbon. So because you start doing duplex and chrome, and those are some specialty skills, but they're still called a combo welder. But that's on alloys. I'm an alloy combo welder, or uh, if you just go around calling yourself a combo welder, I'm going to assume you can run TIG and stick on pipe, and you can weld carbon or stainless. That's what I'm going to assume you are. But again, that's a regional term. That one's fairly standard, but it changes on depending who you talk to. Um, uh, but yeah, single hand just means that you're not running a truck. Uh, you got single hand and you got rig welder. Rig welder obviously has his own truck, his own tools. So fence fabrication, yeah, that'd be some gravy work. Probably pretty repetitious, so kind of like building shelves and iconics. So, but really, if that's it, I think I have a hair. There we go. I got it. If you guys don't have any other questions, I'll probably wrap this up here in a few minutes. So, speak now or forever hold your peace. Oh man, well, okay. I do have some advice slash ideas. You're not going to want to spend a whole lot of money on a truck if you're going to bring it out to the oil field, wherever that's at, because all these lease roads are rough. Um, I know guys that have to do the same repairs that I have to do on 2018 dually Fords. Spend 3 or 4 times as much as I'm going to be spending. Guys, I want you to know how little I spent on that truck. I bought that rig truck for 3,200 bucks. Spent about 5 grand getting it in hard dick shape. So you don't got to spend a whole lot. But that's my style. If you guys knew me on a personal level, I don't buy new trucks. I mean, I got a 76, I got a 79, I had a 86 that I sold in Oklahoma. I mean, I drive old trucks, for the longest time I just sold my 94 Toyota Tacoma. Uh, and that was the newest truck I had for a long time, dude. So you don't have to have a $70,000 rig to come out here. People have wet dreams about that shit, and it just delays it so much. Like when you're $70,000 for a rig versus the 20,000 I spent, machine leads, bevel machines. all that stuff. Really, I'm about 30 grand into all the tools, machine and truck. Um, but you can spend as much money as you want, but you don't have to spend a whole lot. So just keep that in mind. Uh, that's my idea for you. Rock a tub rig. If you're gonna chase pipeline, rock a tub rig. Tub rigs are cheap, man. You don't have to buy a welding bed. You don't have to build one. Um, just have everything there that you need. Have it handy. Have it set up where it's accessible. So that's really all you need. So well, like I said already, mentioned that I'm. We there? Okay, we had a little disconnect there for a second. You do you. You do whatever you want. So I got that truck at a little over 100,000 miles. So it still had a lot of life in it. It still does. It's got like 130,000 miles on it now. So a few miles on it. I expect to get a lot more out of it though. I'm always on a constant search for a similar deal. A good old truck. I'm thinking about starting a mid 90s 7.3 turbo diesel project. Um, Make a killer motor, build the bed, um, have an awesome truck, kind of do a ground up restoration on it. Um, but, I mean, that I might buy an airplane first. If I'm being honest, I might buy an airplane first. So, I'm not a pipeliner. I don't chase pipelines. I am a rig welder. I am a contract rig welder that I specialize in new construction and fabrication. I mean, at this point I could go hop on a pipeline. There's actually not a whole lot of pipeline work going on right now. Whatever reason, I'm not in that business, so I don't know, but those guys, I see them on Facebook looking for work. So there's a lot of that stuff that's been shut down. Just uh, hiring freezes. There's a couple jobs still going on. I got a couple buddies still out here pipeline welding, but there's a lot of guys out here that are